At a concert, my girlfriend climbed on her male best friend's shoulders while laughing. "You're taller, way better than my boyfriend." The crowd cheered. I just left. The next morning, she realized she'd lost more than just me. You ever have one of those moments where everything just goes quiet? The whole world zooms in on one single thing, and you see it for exactly what it is. For me, that happened last Friday night, in the middle of a screaming crowd of thousands, and the thing I saw was the absolute end of my relationship. Let me lay it out. My name is Leo. I'm 33. I own a gym. My life is about discipline, strength, and cutting out the bull. I don't have time for games. My girlfriend Maya, 2 years together, is the opposite. She loves games. She creates drama because she thinks it makes her interesting. For a while, I thought it was just how she was wired, but was starting to realize it was a choice to be selfish and disrespectful. The main issue was a guy named Eric, her male best friend, the brother. I'm not an idiot. I see how he looks at her, the way he's always touching her arm, her back. About 6 months ago, I laid it all out. We had a huge fight about him. I told her I wasn't going to be the guy who sits there and pretends he doesn't see what's happening. I told her to either cut the crap and put some serious distance between them, or we were done. She cried. She swore he was just a friend, but she promised. She said she'd back him off, that our relationship was her priority. And for a while, she actually did. The late-night text stopped. He wasn't at every single dinner. I thought we'd actually fixed it. Then came the concert last Friday. It was for her favorite band. I busted my ass to get tickets, spent way more than I should have because I wanted to do something special for us. It was supposed to be our night, a date. We get through the gates, and the first person I see is him. Eric, standing there with this smug grin on his face. My gut clenched. What's he doing here? I didn't even try to hide the edge in my voice. Maya immediately went on the defensive. "Oh my God, Leo, don't start. He got a ticket from a friend. It's a total coincidence." I just looked at her. Then I looked at him. The look he gave me back, a little victorious smirk, told me everything. This was no coincidence. This was a setup. She had lied to me. She had broken the one promise I had made a deal breaker. "Right," I said. Just that one word. I should have walked away right then. But I paid for the tickets. And I was going to see the band. I decided I would just treat them like they weren't there. A stupid plan, I know. But Maya and Eric had other ideas. They were all over each other, whispering, laughing, 100 inside jokes I wasn't a part of. She was putting on a performance, and I was the chump in the background. I wasn't her date. I was the guy who drove her there. The headliner comes on, the crowd surges forward, and Maya starts complaining she can't see. She's not tall, so it was probably true. "Leo, let me get on your shoulders," she says like nothing is wrong. "You know I have a bad back," I told her. "We can just move to the side a bit." She gave me a 5-second pout, then turned to Eric with a bright, fake smile. Eric will do it. He's strong." And just like that, he's crouching down and she's climbing onto his shoulders. The crowd around us, a bunch of drunk kids, started cheering. She was loving it, playing to them, living her main character moment. Then she looked down at me. He's a few inches taller, so she was really looking down. She laughed, a loud, ugly sound. "See," she shouted, making sure everyone around us could hear. "You're taller. Way better than my boyfriend." The crowd roared. They thought it was great. Eric just stared at me with that same smug, punchable face. He'd won. And that's when everything went quiet for me. The music, the crowd, everything faded. It was just this cold, hard clarity. This was it. The final line. I didn't get angry. I didn't yell. I just looked up at her. This girl I thought I loved, making a fool of me on another man's shoulders. And I smiled. Because I was done. I turned and walked away. I didn't have to shove my way through the crowd. It was like they could feel the vibe coming off me and just parted. I didn't look back once. I walked out of that venue, into the cool night air, and I felt nothing but relief. They were so wrapped up in their little victory, they probably didn't even notice I was gone. Update 1. The taxi ride home was the best 45 minutes I've had in a long time. My head was completely clear. No more second guessing, no more wondering if I was the crazy one. I knew exactly what I had to do. I got back to my apartment, my name on the lease, my furniture, a little after 10. First thing I did was shoot the deadbolt. Then I went straight to our bedroom and started packing her stuff. I wasn't just throwing it around. I used her own expensive luggage. I packed everything. The closet, the bathroom, the whole 9 yards. By midnight, it was like she had never lived there. Just a row of suitcases lined up by the front door. I knew they'd come back eventually, probably drunk and expecting me to have gotten over it. I sat on the couch, put on a game, and waited. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard them stumbling and laughing. Her key scraped in the lock, then hit the deadbolt. Confusion. Then the banging started. "Leo, let me in. The door's stuck," she yelled. I didn't move. I just watched them on the doorbell camera. Eric, trying to be the tough guy, tried to shoulder the door and just bounced off like a fucking idiot. It was almost funny. Finally, she called my phone. I answered. "Leo, what the hell is wrong with the door?" "Nothing's wrong with it," I said. "It's locked." "Well, unlock it." "No." A beat of silence. "What do you mean, no?" "I mean, you don't live here anymore, Maya. I believe you found someone way better. So you can go live with him. Your bags are packed. Have a nice life." I could hear Eric yelling something in the background. She started sputtering. "You're breaking up with me over a joke?" "You broke up with us when you lied to my face and brought him to the concert," I said. "The rest was just you confirming my decision in front of a few thousand people. We're done." I hung up and blocked both of their numbers. The banging and yelling continued. Finally, I walked right up to the door and shouted through it, "Hey Maya, tell the moron to take it easy on my door before he sprains something. You'll need him to carry your bags." Eventually, they gave up and left. I watched them go on the camera. It felt good. The next morning, I moved her luggage into the hallway of the building. I used an app to send an anonymous text to her phone. "Your things are in the hall." Then I went to the gym. When I got back, they were gone. The peace didn't last long. By Monday, the smear campaign had started. I was the villain. I was the jealous, controlling boyfriend who couldn't take a joke. I had abandoned her at a concert and then, in a violent, unhinged rage, had thrown her out of her home. The story spread like wildfire through our friend group. I got a few texts from people who bought her story. I just deleted them. My real friends, the ones who actually know me, called to ask what was up. I told them the truth, simply and without drama. They got it. The rest, I didn't care about. If they were stupid enough to believe her version of events, they weren't people I needed in my life anyway. I knew they would push it. I knew Eric, especially, wouldn't be able to let it go. His ego was too big. So I just waited. I knew they'd come for another round. They found me on Saturday, a week after the concert. I was in the parking garage of my building, loading some new weights into my truck. They pulled up and blocked me in. She got out, crying. He got out, looking for a fight. "Leo, we need to talk," she said. "No, we don't," I replied, not even looking at them. Eric stepped up. "Hey, she's talking to you. You're gonna show her some respect." I finally turned and faced him. "This has nothing to do with you. Back off." "I'm not going anywhere," he said, getting right up in my personal space. He was trying to use his height to intimidate me. It wasn't working. "You humiliated her. You are going to apologize." I actually laughed in his face. "Apologize? Get out of my way, Eric." I tried to step past him and he shoved me, hard, right in the chest, stumbling me back a step. I said apologize, and that was it. All the disrespect, all the lies, all the smirking, it all came to a head right there. He put his hands on me. He made it physical. He shoved me again, and my body just reacted. I've been training my whole life. It was one punch, a short, straight right hand. It landed flush on his jaw, and he just folded. He was out before he hit the concrete. Maya started screaming. "Oh my God, you monster! I'm calling the cops." "Go ahead," I said, shaking out my hand. "And when they get here, I'll show them the security footage from this garage that shows your boyfriend assaulting me first. See who they believe." She froze, her phone in her hand. She looked at Eric, groaning on the ground. She looked at me, standing there, perfectly calm. And in her eyes, I saw the first flicker of something that looked a lot like fear. Update 2. The knockout changed the game. It wasn't about winning a fight, it was about ending one. Maya, with tears streaming down her face, managed to get a dazed and bleeding Eric into his car. They sped out of the garage without another word. The threat of security footage and an assault charge was the one thing her drama couldn't overcome. The story of the punch spread, of course. But without the context, their version of events didn't have the impact they wanted. My real friends knew the truth, and anyone who had been at the concert and seen her behavior had a pretty good idea of what led up to it. Their campaign to paint me as the unhinged villain just fizzled out. You can't really claim someone as a monster when you're the one who was publicly humiliating him a week before. A week later, the begging started. She started using her friends' phones to text me. Long, rambling apologies. It was a mistake. She'd had too much to drink. Eric was just a friend. The usual garbage. I just blocked the numbers as they came. Then, she showed up at my gym. I was in the middle of a session with a client. She just walked in, looking like a ghost. I told my client to take 5 and walked her outside. "You can't be here," I told her. "Leo, please," she begged. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. I know that now." "Good," I said. "Then you know why we have nothing to talk about. But I love you. I'll do anything." I told Eric I can't see him anymore, I swear. "It's too late," I said, turning to go back inside. "No, wait," she grabbed my arm. "We can fix this." "I know we can. There's just one thing." I knew it. I could see the insane entitlement was still there, right behind the fake tears. "What?" I asked. She took a breath. "I'll come back. I'll do whatever you want. But first, you have to apologize to Eric. You really hurt him, and it wasn't his fault. He was just defending me. If you just tell him you're sorry, we can move on from all this." I just stared at her. For a solid 10 seconds, I thought my brain had broken. The sheer, breathtaking delusion of it. She wanted me to apologize to the guy she emotionally cheated on me with, the guy who helped her humiliate me, the guy who assaulted me. It was so insane, it was almost brilliant. I started to laugh, a deep, loud laugh that came from my gut. I couldn't stop. I was laughing so hard I had to lean against the wall. "What's so funny?" she asked, confused and angry. "You are," I finally gasped, wiping a tear from my eye. "You really truly still think you have any say in this? You think you're the prize here?" I straightened up and looked her dead in the eye. "Get out of here, Maya. Don't ever come back. We are done. And no, I will not be apologizing to your boyfriend." I went back into my gym and locked the door. Final update. It's been 6 months. I haven't heard a peep from her since that day. The threat of a restraining order was the one message that finally got through her thick skull. Her life, from what I've heard from the few mutual friends I still talk to, has been a dumpster fire. She and Eric tried to make a go of it, but their entire dynamic was based on him being the exciting alternative to me. Once I was out of the picture, they had nothing to rebel against, and they just imploded. They had a massive public fight at a bar, and that was the end of that. Eric's reputation took a major hit. The story of him getting knocked out after getting caught with his best friend's girlfriend made him a local legend for all the wrong reasons. His big tough guy act was a joke now. I heard he had to get a couple of crowns too, which couldn't have been cheap. Maya ended up having to move back in with her parents. Without me funding her lifestyle, she couldn't afford her apartment. She got a boring office job and apparently complains about it constantly. She went from being the queen of the party to just another person stuck in a cubicle. The ultimate irony. I saw her once, a few weeks ago. I was on a date with someone new. We were at a restaurant and Maya was our waitress. She saw me, her face went completely white, and she immediately told her manager she was sick and left. My date asked me what that was all about. I just smiled and said, "It's a long story." And it is a long story, but it's a story that's over. The best revenge wasn't the punch or locking her out or any of it. It was simply refusing to be a character in her drama anymore. I walked off the stage and let her and Eric have the spotlight they so desperately wanted. And, like most bad actors, they flopped. They lost more than just a boyfriend that night. They lost their audience. And for people like them, that's a fate worse than death.